Today we want to review or learn how to solve what are known as simple rational equations. Rational equations are those that made up by fractions that are or that contain variables or variable expressions. Polynomial expressions is a better term here. But they're actually very simple. If you remember in some of our previous videos, I discussed that when you have a fraction equal to another fraction, the easiest way to solve this is simply to cross multiply, and that's what we're going to do. So, if we look on the top of this fraction here on the left, our numerator on the left is 2, and I want to multiply that times the denominator on the right, the n minus 3. So that would be 2 times n minus 3. It's important that I write it this way. The n minus 3 needs to be in parentheses here. Equal to n times 5, and n times 5 is 5n. Now, why was it important? Well, I must distribute the 2 to the n and that negative 3. So 2 times n is 2n. 2 times negative 3, negative 6 equals 5n. And now we want to isolate the variable. Now I notice that I have a 2n minus 6 on this side and a 5n on that side. So what I'm going to do is actually move the 2 in. Why? Well, if I have to move the 6 and then the 5, then I've got 2 steps. But if I move the 2 in, I'm just making 1. So I have a positive 2n, so I want to actually do a minus 2n to both sides. Again, these would cancel, so I would have a negative 6 equals. And a 5n minus 2n gives me a positive 3n. And you already know that we should divide both sides by 3. And a negative 6 divided by 3 reduces to negative 2 equals 3's cancel, so I have n. And that's the answer for example number 1. Example number 2. Again, fraction equal to 8. And 8 again can be written as a fraction by simply dropping the invisible 1 back under there and cross multiplying. So 12 times 1 is 12 equals y minus 2 times 8. So I know that that's going to be 8 times y minus 2. Again, the y minus 2 in parentheses. Why? Because we must distribute that 8 to the y minus 2. So the 12 is going to hang out for a moment, and we're going to get 8 times y to get 8y. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. And again, you'll notice that I have a lot more going on this right side. So instead of moving the 8y, I'm actually going to move the 16. So instead of minus 16, I want to do plus 16 to both sides. 12 plus 16 here is going to give me 28 equals 8y. Now I got to divide both sides by 8. Those 8's cancel to give me y equals, and 28 over 8 will reduce to 7 over 2. And again, we really do want to keep that improper fraction. Remember, you may always check your fractions in Desmos. And finally, we want to look at example number 3. For example number 3, we already have our 2 fractions. So we're going to do 4 times d minus 1. And we're going to get 4 times d minus 1 equals d plus 3 times 6. So 6 times d plus 3. And you will notice that this time I must distribute on both sides of this equation to get 4d minus 4 equals 6d plus, and 6 times 3 is 18. And again, I'm going to move the minus 4 first, so I'm going to get plus 4 to both sides so that I get 4d equals 6d plus 22. And now I want to get the 6d over here with the 4d, so I'm going to subtract 6d from both sides. And 4d minus 6d would give me negative 2d equals, and these cancel so that I'm left simply with 22. And now to finish up, we're going to divide both sides by negative 2. These cancel so that I'm left with d equals, and 22 divided by negative 2 is negative 11. And that is the answer for example number 3. I hope you have a great day, guys.